He was the in-game leader of the team with the most raw firepower in Counter-Strike history, calling for players like Nico, Monesi, and Kyosuke. Leading a team with that much individual talent is never simple. It takes experience, confidence, and the ability to make the right calls under pressure against the very best teams in the world. In this exclusive breakdown, we get a look inside his mind as he goes in depth on how Mirage, his strongest map, should be played. This is the same knowledge that helped his team take down elite teams like Vitality, Furia, Spirit, and more. And the best part, we strip everything down to the basics so even regular players can understand it, apply it, and improve. This is Kyxsan's Mirage T-side Masterclass, tactics, tips, and utility used and abused by the best in the world. Enjoy the show. Okay, so let's start with like kind of vision of this map for you. Like, what do you think is making your Mirage so strong? And in team environment, in Faceit, this is a map that everyone kind of needs to play and needs to know how to play. So share some insights inside of Kyxsan's brain. What is happening when you play this map?
I think this is a kind of map where the defaults are really important. It's a map where, I mean, it's been in the map pool for a really long time, so everyone kind of knows how to play it, but even nowadays people still find new things, some new moves, some new nades, so I think the most important part is how to default on this map. I think if you have good defaults, that's basically the most important thing in my opinion, because everyone knows how to do A execute or everyone knows how to do B pop, but once you master kind of the defaults, then it's much easier to play this map. If we talk about the defaults, I mean, most of the rounds start with some mid pressure. There are 3 smokes on mid that people use. It's top mid smoke, window smoke, and I mean, these 2 are the most common, and some people like to throw this connector smoke sometimes. But I would say that most of the time it's just the window and the top mid smoke. How the rounds usually look, I mean, every team plays this map kind of differently, but most of the teams have a top mid player. They have one more guy behind him who is either going with him or he's gonna just help with some flashes. Then every team also has a lurk and a B guy or underground guy. So that's why I said everyone plays it differently. Some people have like a specific B guy, B lurk, and a separate under guy. Some teams have this one guy who is kind of responsible for both, but that's pretty much it how this map is played. Some utility on mid except the smokes. People like to molly con or this molly at the start of the round. This molly underground is pretty good in my opinion, even more important I would say nowadays, because a lot of teams on city side are coming, especially with the op, and they like to pick under or even sometimes the rifle. On city side he will come, he will do some flash like this, or he might get a flash from window and they're just being annoying in under. So throwing this molly helps a lot our underground guy. One molly that I don't see too many people using, maybe just few teams, but I really like to use is this one. So what happens is that usually, I mean, I was the mid player in Falcons, so usually I would ask for these 2 smokes, and then just before I commit to the mid fights, obviously someone is gonna support me with flashes, I like to throw this molly. I think it helps a lot because this short player is sometimes really annoying. The cities on mid nowadays are really aggressive, so often what they will do is they will a lot of boxes at the start of the round, then they have someone, either the window guy or the short guy, he will come and break the smoke, then they might remolly again, and this makes it super hard for the mid player. This molly helps me a lot because it kind of removes the short guy completely, and then even if there is a window guy, often he will break or he will do something in window, and then he's dangerous for these 2 or 3 seconds while the break is happening, you know, and then he's not dangerous anymore. So window guy is not that big of a danger, and with this molly also remove the short guy. So this is one molly that I really like to use, and I think it's helping me a lot in defaults.
Okay, this is good. You're talking that defaults are super important. When do you think that defaults are kind of ending in on a map like Mirage? For example, if I talk about Dust 2, defaults usually end when you take short control or you take long control, right? If you have certain map zones. So what do you think is important to take on Mirage specifically? Sorry for a small interruption, but thanks to this video you will learn how to play Mirage on macro level. But what about micro? Strategies and tactics go out of window if you don't hit your shots. That is why today's sponsor comes into clutch. Refrag. You can find over 20 different drills for any map to help you with the way you peek, clear and pre-aim enemies. And yes, while you might find these kind of maps on Workshop 2, you will never be able to learn the pattern because the way enemies behave on Refrag is slightly randomized, but still realistic. So it feels like you're playing against actual people, and that improves you way more than just shooting static bots. And trust me, even me with 20,000 hours in CS, I struggle with certain arenas, which is a good thing. I'd rather struggle in Refrag than in match with ELO or prize money on the line. If you wish to try this, head over to play.refrag.gg/redeem and use code STYKO. This way you enter completely free trial to see if you vibe with it. No commitments, but I heard it's hard to not come back when you see the results. Thank you Refrag for sponsoring this portion of the video, and now let's get back to Mirage. What was Kyxsan saying?
I think Mirage is a bit different than Dust 2, but I think the most important areas to take after you took like the mid control is ladder room, and connector, I would say. And also some people, actually a lot of teams nowadays are boosting in window. So like sending one guy into ladder or boosting one guy into window or sending one guy into connector is kind of the most important thing. But one important detail for all of these things together is that I think the team should have like a plan how to end the round before all of this happens. What I mean is that we shouldn't wait for our guy to take ladder, and once he took it, basically we should make a decision how to finish the round before he got into ladder, if you know what I mean. Because if he gets into ladder and now we are still spread around the map, we have one guy maybe top mid, we have maybe one guy lurking A, one guy lurking B, we are not in a position to do anything. So what I mean is that while this guy is taking ladder, we should be already maybe grouping up A, ready to hit A, or maybe we should be grouping up con, ready to hit con, or B ups, for example. So these three are the most important things to take after taking mid control, and the rest of the team should be ready to do something else around the map. It can be anything. How to take these three areas? I mean, there are different ways. I would say the most common thing that teams are doing is that they do like, let's call it second wave or second step. So you would resmoke window. By the way, I would suggest people to not smoke window like this, like everyone is doing it. You can do it, you can just crouch, aim a bit on the left from this box, and this way the window smoke will land a bit more on the left, which makes it hard for the city to... can you clear?
Yep.
If you throw the normal window smoke, I will just show it how it looks. Then what people like to do is that they will come here and they can spam and kill you on catwalk. But if you throw this other window smoke that I showed, it goes a bit more on the left, and it's almost impossible for the city to... Like, look, if he goes up, he doesn't see anything. Like, he can still spam, but it's much harder to understand where is the catwalk, if you know what I mean. So this is one small tip I can suggest. But going back to the second wave, people, what they like to do is they like to resmoke window, and people also like to use this topcon smoke. Topcon smoke usually is like, sometimes it's thrown from underground. So one guy would come here, and when the window smoke is flying, he's gonna smoke topcon and usually do this molly. Another way to do it is that maybe you have someone behind boxes. It can be even the same guy who smoked window. He will do window smoke, then he will come and he's gonna smoke topcon, and this way you have like this second wave combo, which allows you to now get some space in con or boost window or send one guy catwalk ready to take ladder. Just one thing to be aware of is that when you do this, what people like to do is that the cities like to come here and just stand between the smoke and the molly. This is something that's possible only in CS2 obviously, but everyone is kind of using it. So if you are this guy and you throw this combo, don't just come here and be like unaware of this. Just come and still prefire this. Or even here behind the box.
I have a question, because you're talking about a lot of smokes. So for the first and second phase, you are basically already using 4 smokes, right?
Yeah.
With top, mid, and window, then resmoking window, and then top cone probably. You have 1 smoke left. Are you okay with this on a map like Mirage, hitting a side basically with just 1 smoke? I mean, talking about taking the side actually, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's completely fine on a map like Mirage. I can give you a few examples. So let's say you used 4 smokes and maybe you want to finish on A now. I mean, it would be better to have 2 smokes, but a lot of teams nowadays are using this combo. Smoke bench and Molotov stairs. So even with 1 smoke, you can still make the A hit possible. If you wanna finish B, then people like to contact generally, but what you can also do is you can smoke kitchen from here. And again, 1 smoke is completely fine to hit B. Another thing that is a bit underrated in my opinion is that some teams have it. I've seen, I think Furia used it. There's more teams probably, but there is this smoke. Let me see if I remember it.
I think it's the left edge of the door.
Here?
Yeah, like there. I
Yeah.
think so.
So if you wanna finish the round through connector, for example, you also have this smoke. So this is your last smoke, but it's completely fine because you have few people coming up connector and jungle is fully covered. So you're kind of splitting A. You will have 1 guy lurking from ramp or palace, and the numbers will be coming from connector. And this is the last smoke you have. When people are doing this ending, usually they would throw the smoke, and then this guy who threw the smoke is gonna flash above connector. You can even flash twice. Important detail in this specific ending is that someone needs to take care of short. It can be just by holding it, or what people do is also just throw a molly and commit connector.
Okay. So these are your kind of like go-to mid rounds, yeah, basically after
Yeah.
defaulting. Is that, yeah? How do you think that you should approach like finishers of the round? In your mind, mid rounds and finishers are not the same thing, correct?
Yeah, it's not the same. I mean, if we talk about finishers, I think what is important is to, on a map like Mirage, is to have a lot of different options. So what I mean is, I will give few examples. So 1 example can be this finisher on A that I already showed. Second finisher can be this smoke from top mid that you will smoke deep jungle and you're gonna have people in connector. I think all of these things are good, and most of the tier 1 teams understand these things and have them in the playbook. I think what is important is to also have fakes of this. So what I mean is that if you use this smoke to commit connector, sometimes you should use this smoke to also fake it. So you would have 1 guy connector who will get the smoke, he will get the flash above connector, he's gonna commit and sell the fake, and maybe meanwhile you have 2 or 3 guys ready to walk out B and maybe catch a guy who is unaware of maybe walk into a free site. You never know. So yeah, for me, it's just about being unpredictable with the finishers, because it's a map where there's so many options that you can do. You can use connector, you can use short, you can use A, you can use B, and there's a lot of utilities. So it's just about mixing it up and being unpredictable in the late round.
Do you usually decide all of this in a freeze time, or at what stage of the round you kind of realize that, okay, right now we should probably hit B, but I still want to fake this A split and I'm gonna like send 1 guy out connector? Is this all part of the prep, or usually it comes from you noticing, like, let's say B player burned all his utility already, so he will be probably weak there late round, and how do you think about this when it comes to timing? Like, when do you call for this stuff?
I think it can be both. So for example, I can come up with some new ending in our preparation for the game, but usually I don't pre-code this in the freeze time. Maybe I can give a direction that maybe we want to aim to finish towards A later in the round, and that will maybe help the rest to know how to position themselves during the round. But usually these finishers are called, let's say we started with this default that I mentioned. We will take mid, we will have 1 guy behind boxes, we will have the underground guy coming close, and this finisher is usually called before we start doing the second step, or when we start doing it. So at this point, as I already mentioned, we need to have idea where we want to finish the round, before our guy takes connector or ladder or gets boosted into window. That's what I meant when I said this at the start of the video. So usually this is the time when I call the finisher, and while the second wave is coming, we are already ready to hit one of the sides, or we can also be numbers connector and things like that.
So basically, you're sharing responsibility among every player to understand how to move around the map if you want to end A. Obviously, they're not going to overcommit. Like a B lurker is not going to go for a random duel there, right?
Yeah, of course. That's why I think it's good to maybe pre-plan sometimes where do you aim to finish the round, so that let's say you want to finish towards B. Let's say we want to do B split. It wouldn't be possible if our Palace guy is here, for example.
Like here,
He cannot join us, you know what I mean?
Sense.
So, I mean, he can play here if he wants to maybe fake A somehow, or late round have a contact on A, and now maybe we can hit B. But usually, I think the pre-calls are good because it helps everyone on the team understand how they need to position themselves, which utility they need to save, which utility they can use, and things like that.
Speaking about responsibilities of players, so let's zoom out a little bit and talk about what do you expect from the roles. When you look at the roles on T-side Mirage, what is everyone's responsibility? I will give you an example, which a lot of players already know about, but even on Faceit, if you're like always kind of like lurking towards A or whatever, you're going to offer probably some kind of a smoke towards middle at the beginning of the round, right? Either window smoke or top mid smoke. Because your smoke is going to be less likely to be used later on. Can you share some of these? This can be also Faceit environment where something like really tilts you when people are not playing these roles correctly.
Yeah, I mean, there's some small rules that I think people, even in Faceit, they should know. You already mentioned the first one. I think this is the most basic one. Usually in default, as I already mentioned, teams like to throw these two smokes, sometimes even con, but let's just say these two, top, mid, and window. Usually the best way to do it is that there's 8 or 9 spawns on this map, so if everyone knows all of the instant smokes, so the best way to do it is that the people who have insta smokes, that they throw them, and there is obviously 8 or 9 spawns on this map, and let's say someone who has this spawn, he's gonna smoke window, someone who has the spawn next to him, he's gonna smoke top mid, and then this way this allows the mid player to maybe have the potential to do something more aggressive or fast towards mid because he got the fast smokes. This is definitely how it should be, and also one important thing that you already mentioned is that if you are the A lurker, you should always either throw one of the smokes or drop them to the mid players, because often you will not end up using your smoke in the right way, let's say, unless this is let's say you are playing in a team and you have some set round or set execute where you know that you need the smoke, then of course keep it. But if you are gonna play like a slow round, a default, where you don't know how the round will finish, don't get stuck in Palace with smoke, molly, and 2 flashes. Drop whatever you don't need. Like, it's good to keep the molly, because later in the round, maybe if you are ramp, maybe you can Molotov sandwich, or if you're Palace, maybe you can Molotov shadow, but drop your smoke at least, because this smoke is much more important in mid. I would say that it's the same for the B lurker, so if you are playing towards B apps or underground, but let's say if in this specific round you plan to lurk towards B apps, then there's not really a place where you can use your smoke in this area, unless you maybe get the site and then maybe you can smoke something towards B, but that's really hard to plan and to guess. So I think the B lurker and the A lurker should almost never have smokes unless it's some set call or some set execute that your team has.
Speaking about your calls as an IGL, I want to talk about a little bit of your, I don't want to even know if this is a real term, but like kind of flow call, the sequence of how you call the rounds. Because on this map, this is very specific that, yes, you said that defaults are very important and essential, but also freeze time calls are going to be very, very much needed when you want to switch the tempo, etc., etc. So I just wanted to ask you about your theory how you build the string of these rounds together, because you don't want to like default 10 rounds in a row. You sometimes
Yeah.
want to do an A execute, or sometimes you want to B rush or B pop. So how do you abuse these things if things work or if they don't? How often do you actually change the tempo? Because you clearly have to have some kind of like process in your brain why you do it. It's not like a roulette. And it also doesn't necessarily need to be based on anti-strat. Sometimes you just want to do it because you feel it's right. And that's why I'm asking this question, if you can share with us, when do you think it's right?
Yeah, I don't think there is like a clear definition that you can just say, okay, now I need to change the pace. I think sometimes it's a feeling that comes just, maybe it's weird to say, but it just comes naturally. So maybe you were fighting mid, you were defaulting mid few rounds in a row, and you won all of these rounds, so maybe now you expect them to challenge you on mid, and now you just feel that it's time to hit A or B. So this can be one example. Second example that I can mention is that sometimes this can also be seen in anti-strat. What some teams like to do is that, let's imagine your city now for a second. Let's say the city's pushed ramp in some specific round, and they won the round, or maybe this play won them the round, let's say. Next round, like how some teams or players like to think is that now, because we pushed ramp, now we can leave A, if you know what I mean. Because they don't
Yeah.
expect us
So
to maybe come A, so
we
they
just
will just...
punish them there. Yeah.
Yes. Or another example can be that, let's say, we as a, like, we are playing T side and we did some A execute, which didn't work. Okay, so they had some good A setup where maybe the Rifler killed us, or maybe the op started ticket, and now what they might think is that, okay, we just destroyed them on A, there's no way they come back. And this is when you repeat the call, and often A might be clear, for example. But again, this also, as I mentioned, depends on the anti-strat, because I like to check this kind of things in the anti-strat, because different teams and different players have different opinion about this, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is just...
So do you actually, when you do anti-strat, and let's say you play against certain IGL that likes to repeat calls if they work, do you notice it and you actually base your own decisions on their like approach, right?
Of course, of course. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see
Okay.
this when you we can see this when you watch their games. So obviously you can rewatch all of their games on Skybox, for example, and you see one round how they played it, and then you see if they won or lost that round, and then next round you see kind of what is their next move. And if you see like a pattern that they repeated this 2 or 3 times, then you understand that, okay, this team thinks this way, and then you try to base your game plan or your way of thinking around that, if you know what I mean. But this is not something
Okay.
that you notice with all the teams. Not every team has this like set way of thinking or playing, but I've noticed it in at least few tier 1 teams.
Hard-hitting question, Kyxsan. Can you spot your own tendencies, which you are maybe an obvious tell to others?
Thinking, I would rather not say it, because it's
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
the way I like to
Do you,
call, and
do
I
you,
wouldn't like to say it.
yeah, do you want to share something about other IGLs? Maybe you notice tendency in, I don't know, Krabeni or something like that. Do you want to give a little bit insight
I can
on
give one
someone else?
example.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed with Vitality, and I also know it because my coach in Falcons was coach of Vitality in the past, so I know a little bit how they like to think about the game. They're pretty stubborn in a way that I have good example of IM Rio, which was
Okay.
a week or two ago. We played them on Mirage. Uh, they hit A like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10 rounds, and I was the A player, obviously, so that's how I know it. But even though they were losing the rounds on A, they were stubborn and they kept hitting A, thinking that, okay, now Kyxsan might leave A, or now they might, I don't know, do something that A will be weak, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
they like to kind of, I guess they have some game plan or some idea before the game starts that they want to go A, and A in this case, and even if it doesn't work, they like to believe that it will work eventually at some point, and they just stick to what their what they believe in, let's say. This is something I have noticed with Vitality.
It's pretty interesting because I feel. Did you win that Mirage, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So I think Apex said on Twitter after the map that I'm sorry guys, like this loss is on me. I called dogshit T sides or anything or something like that.
Yeah.
So you were kind of like getting in his head, but he was maybe calling his style of a D side, but you were like one step ahead of him, and you noticed that okay, they are stubborn, and that's why you kind of maybe abused it, and you did something that teams did not do for a long time, which is beat Vitality in a best of 3, right?
Yeah. I mean, now after this video, everyone knows how to beat Vitality.
just don't hit A when Kyxsan is holding it.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on. Basically, you said about one finisher towards A, which is pretty popular when you have a one smoke. Do you maybe have one go-to finisher towards B when you're like split, when you're just going B apps? Okay, because I feel like whenever Faceit is happening, people tend to attack A late round way more than B side.
Yeah.
Because it's just more fun to go through connector, it's more action, and then going back to T spawn and then back to B to go B apps is kind of boring gameplay, which everyone wants to avoid in Faceit. So in team environment, B is way more used, especially some teams, they love to finish B.
Yeah.
But people in Faceit, they don't know how. So can you show some, maybe, let's say 3 terrorists are alive, you have a couple of grenades, let's say a smoke, a molly, and 2 flashes. What would be kind of like good way to finish B, which is like yielding pretty good results?
Yeah. I will show 2 or 3 different options, and all of them are pretty simple. I mean, the most basic one that I think everyone knows is just to pop B. It can be early round, it can be late round. I would suggest throwing this smoke. Don't throw this one that is flying for a really long time. So you just line up here with the stone or whatever it is, and then you aim between these two, like here. This is smoke for kitchen. If we talk about the flashes, I think one flash that is really important is this one. Maybe I can aim a bit lower. It should blind him more, I think. I think this is fine, because one flash that everyone is also throwing is the first guy who is jumping out of B-ups, he's gonna throw this flash.
Yep.
So this flash, okay, now I failed it again. If you throw this flash correctly, it will go like that, a bit deeper, and anyone who is playing here, he's gonna be full blind from that flash, and he's gonna be a little bit blind from that one. The good thing about this flash, the Edward flash that I showed, is that it also blinds deep short. So anyone playing like, I don't know, let's say like here, or I'm pretty sure even this angle.
Ooh, this might be close.
I just
it's
need
very
to
close.
aim higher, yes. In the past I was throwing it like this, but then I changed it a bit higher, so it blinds that guy. So I'm pretty sure this should be okay.
Yeah, this looks better. This looks better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
nice.
this flash, I would suggest the guy who is smoking kitchen to flash here. Then you can throw one more deep flash that pops on top of B-ups and doesn't blind your teammates. For the people going in, I would suggest that the first guy can throw this flash, jump down with it, and just focus on this area. Okay, the most important thing here is the putting. I hate it when I see my teammates on Faceit, first guy going to balcony and just not doing anything. How you need to do it is that first 2 guys need to jump down and get space. Use the flashes. You're getting this flash, which is good. You're getting this flash, which is good, and you're getting one more flash. So the flashes are really good. What you need to do as a first guy, you need to jump down and focus on this and getting space. You're also getting kitchen smoke. Second guy, he should also jump down and follow in getting space. I think he doesn't need to run fully like the first guy, so he can be like just ready to trade wherever it's needed. Third guy can go balcony and clear this area and potentially kill backside and bench. But what is really important, as I said, is the first guy and second to go down, because if first and second guy go here, the round it's much harder to win, because we are not getting a lot of space, and even if we drop down, we will be stuck in this area. And if they have fast rotation, they can just run out backside, and it's impossible for us to even plant the bomb, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
this spotting and
Alright,
nades are important.
This is one of the finishes.
Yeah.
You said you have one or two more.
One thing that I will show something a bit similar to the first ending finisher. One thing that is really underrated in my opinion, and okay, I will say that Monesi really like to do it, so maybe people will believe me that it's good, is that sometimes you will skip the kitchen smoke, so you will not have, I mean, you can still have this guy who will throw only the flashes, so he can still do his role, and you will have your upper come here and hold kitchen. And all the rest, you can still do the same. Like first guy will come here, he can jump down, get space. Second guy can follow him. Third guy, you can go balcony. All of that is fine. But sometimes skipping this kitchen smoke and having the upper hold here will get you a free kill. And then what is even more important is that, okay, you will get the kill, but then other people who are rotating are scared to cross, and then it makes it much easier to kind of get space and defend the bomb site when they're full scared of kitchen and they cannot even cross unless they take a risk and gamble that the upper misses or they pick him. But this is a really high advantage duo for our upper.
Yeah, like even I would out-open Monesi on that angle,
Yeah.
probably. And as well, like staying in BF's post plant with an op is super good because you can hold
Yes.
behind very easily. You can check it every once in a while, but you're also like 2 steps away from locking down short.
Yes.
So
This is really good
like,
angle. Every
like
angle you
actually
hold
smokes
from
the-
here, it's OP. Sorry.
yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to say, that you don't want your own smoke to destroy an angle for you because you basically cut off whole rotation and you're essentially winning a round. But obviously, if it's 5v5 and you still expect 2 CTs to be on B side, which you need to clear, then probably using a smoke is better option because you need to clear the site first. But if this is like a 3v3 situation where most likely there's only one CT stuck B and everyone else needs to rotate to him, then skipping the smoke is way more viable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I think you skip the smoke when, let's say, it's not a 5v5, so you expect maybe less people to be on the B-bomb site, or maybe if it's like super early round and you just wanna pop B insta, and obviously you pop B because you expect this bomb site to be weak. You expect maybe one guy to be there or maximum two. That's when you skip the smoke. But if it's 5v5 and it's quiet around the map and there's not much pressure around the map, then there's a good chance there maybe more people towards B, and in that case it's better to smoke it.
Actually, is there something else you want to talk about on T side? Because you wanted to talk about something about A side as well. How you approach that, right? And with
Yeah.
some smokes. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I would just show one combo that's really good in my opinion. We were using it in Falcons, and recently I saw other teams also. I will not say that they copied it from us, but I saw them use it also. So this is a combo that you can throw from. You need to get stuck in this corner. This is smoke stairs, so you just aim. You kind of connect these two. This one is flying for a while, but it's completely fine. And for the second smoke, you just aim a little bit above this part of the roof, so not here, a bit higher. And then you do W jump throw. This is how the smokes land, and the reason why I think it's good is because they go really deep, they pop really deep, and it makes it impossible for them to sneak bench or to do this kind of moves, or also like jump sandwich is much harder because the way that the default, let's say if you throw the most basic smokes, which are also fine, they will do the job, but with these smokes, for example, look how different it looks and how much more space the cities have. So if you're a connector player and you see this, you can always just come here, you can hold palace, for example, and pick ramp on timing. Maybe when your teammate gets a contact, you're just gonna swing and maybe get a free kill and escape. And with the smoke that I showed before that go a bit deeper, it's impossible to do these kind of things. The only small disadvantage is that, as I already said, the first smoke is flying for a while. So once everyone kind of learns this combo, then people might start blocking this smoke. But I think for now it's fine to use this smoke and
I
the other
like
one,
it,
obviously.
actually. And it's also pretty easy lineup to throw.
Yeah, and only one guy can throw both, so.
This is pretty good. I will start using this in my games now. The second one is W jump throw, right?
Yes, this one, the bench one, is W jump throw. Overall, if we talk about A bomb site, it can be this execute that I just showed, or it can be any other. I think what is important on A is to have good plan after you plant the bomb. So what should never happen is that, let's say you did some execute, you took the bomb site, you planted the bomb, and now what should never happen is that one guy goes into sandwich, one guy goes into Tetris, one guy goes into Ninja, and later he will get mollied. This is not, I mean, sometimes you end up in these situations because maybe it's just a hard situation and there's not much you can do. It's fine to end up like this once in a while, but this should never be the goal. I think it's important to get more space after you plant the bomb. One option can be to take city. It can be with a flash, so sometimes you can pre-plan when you execute A that the guy who was smoking city, he will save one flash and later he's gonna flash city for us, and then we can take city and we can do a setup here where we can play like kind of on top of each other and one guy can dodge. Or what we can also do is that one guy is playing up or down, it doesn't matter, second guy is dodging here, and then if the cities are gonna flash here, you're just gonna swing after the flash and trade your teammate. Second thing that is also really good is that this one is a bit harder because you need an extra smoke, but if you can manage to save an extra smoke, then coming here, and after your smokes are fading, let's say at the start of the round you did this combo, you hit A, you got the site, you got the bomb plant, and now just before these two smokes fade, what you can do is you're gonna do smoke topcon and molly jungle. Molly jungle can also be thrown from here, and then instead of taking city you can take this area, and this area will win you the round most of the time because it's so much space that even if it's like 5v5 or something and the cities are coming heavy city, it's so hard for them to just go out because look how many like how open they are when they're coming out. Imagine you as a T have this, you can be also hiding sandwich, even firebox, you can be in ninja, you can be in palace, you can be in ramp. So for them it's extremely hard coming out of city, having to worry about all of these places where you can be. So that's why I would suggest to always have some plan what to do after you plant the bomb. As I already mentioned, sometimes it will be impossible, but I think in most cases it will be possible, and it's good to do one of these two things that I mentioned.
When you're already in advantage, let's say you're playing against force buy, okay? You don't really need to gain that much space anymore, right? It will be anyway pretty hard, like, retake for them. And if you are taking space and you fail something, let's say you miss a utility or anything like that, there's a higher chance of dying than like playing post-plant really passive. But if you're playing like a 5v5, obviously that's going to be impossible for you to hold from passive positions. I mean, there are only so many positions you can take on A side. And as you said, like one sandwich, one Tetris, one ninja, maybe one in shadow or something. And if you're not taking any fights, CTs will just come and clear you.
Yeah, I think...
Because you have nowhere else to be.
Yeah, I think as you said, if you play against pistols or like a worse buy, it's okay to stay more passive. So I think sandwich is really good position because this guy can have like kind of first contact for some spots like city or firebox, or if he wants to play like this, and then different people can pick on his contact. So this guy who was here, he can pick. This guy who was in shadow, he can, like, they kind of hold the same angle here, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
This guy and this guy. Maybe one guy from Palace who is hiding here, he can also like pick. So this sandwich position is really key in my opinion. Just to continue what I started, sometimes it's okay to stay passive against worse buys, but at some point you need to pick them. Like if you have AK and they have like 5-7s and deagles, I mean these pistols can be dangerous, but 95% of the time you're gonna win the duel. Like you shouldn't stay here or here the whole round. At some point you need to like go for a pick and kind of plan it together with your teammates, and if you all do it together properly, you're gonna trade each other and you'll always win the round against pistols.
Nice. What about some B-side positions? what do you think is the equivalent of sandwich A side on B?
Definitely, I mean, we call it modi, this position.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people or teams call it modi. I think this is really important. That's why, if you remember when I was talking about B pops, I said that first guy should always jump with the flashes and get as much space as he can. So if he manages to come here and he doesn't see anyone for some reason, or maybe he kills short, now he can just come here, and this is really important position because it's really annoying as a city when you're coming out of the kitchen door. It's really hard to kill this guy because you need to kind of open, like go out in the open, and then you're getting a fight with this guy. Then maybe there is another guy who is short and he can like pick on him. Then there is this guy who is ready to pick from side. Then maybe there is one more guy here. I mean, this is a lot of people now, but all of these positions are good to pick on the contact of this guy. So this guy, this is really good angle. Like usually, if you're here, you will always get at least one kill, because it's just for them. It's like how do you call it? Left eye pick. Like you pick on the left, and it's a bit annoying in a way. So this position is always good for one kill, or most of the time. So if you get one kill and you have your teammate ready to pick from here, or if you have your teammate ready to pick from here, or it can be from anywhere. It can be also like, I don't know, maybe from short. Let's say you're holding short, then you just come and you pick on him. You will win the round most of the time.
Yeah, and if the guy is exiting through window, you're in advantage because he's mid-air.
Yes, that's...
He can't really peek you on the edge of the window.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick. The only thing he can do is maybe do some bounce sesh and try to use it as a distraction, but this is a bit situational, and you shouldn't like be scared to go modi because of this flash that I showed, because even if something like this happens, worst case you will get traded always. You will not die for free.
Well, these are some, let's say, information how to play, or like tips how to play these Afterplants. Obviously, there are some situations which are happening to Falcons recently.
Yeah.
That our community loved to meme on them as radar moments, and they are often tied to Afterplants and the retakes. We do have one on Mirage as well, which I want you to go over, and give me your thoughts on it. Just general thoughts. Who do you think was in the wrong? Could have been done better? Could have been adjusted? Because everyone is memeing on it, and we all know that these kind of rounds happen. It's just that lately it's been happening to Falcons a little bit more than usual. So I just want your honest opinion and just discuss the moment. Is that fine with you?
Yeah. Is this the round with KSCERATO one before?
Yes, that's the one.
It was 4v2 from what I remember. I was Firebox, Kyosuke was Stairs, and then we had two guys rotating from B. I killed one guy in Sandwich, which made it 4v1. After like a second or something like that, I heard Kyosuke, like, I cannot remember if he said let's fight, but I just remember that he was fighting from stairs. I'm pretty sure he called like let's pick. He picked from stairs. He didn't get the kill because he was fighting and he said let's fight. I also tried to pick from Firebox. I had FAMAS and not too much HP from what I remember, so I just picked hoping that I would get the trade, but FAMAS sometimes can be a bit unfortunate, you know. So we didn't get the trade. I think it was not a bad decision what both of us did, because we kind of double picked him. It was not the perfect double pick, but it was still, most of the time we will get the trade here. Either he will kill him or I will get the trade. Then I think when it was 2v1, I think what was the main problem in my opinion was that we gave him too much space and respect. I mean in a way that we respected him too much, considering that he was 1 HP. Like we knew that he's low, he planted the bomb and he went sandwich. I think we just took too much time here, kind of waiting for him to make a mistake. I think the best way to play this situation is to, at some point you just need to go and kill him. And I think the best way to do it, to make sure you get the kill, is that you have one guy who will sacrifice and he will just go, maybe not like clear all the angles properly. This guy will most likely die, but then for the second guy behind, it's gonna be the easiest kill of his life when he knows where KSCERATO is and he has 1 HP. So I think the main problem or mistake was that we kind of played it way too slow and careful. I think we were just kind of scared to make a mistake at that moment. I mean, it was a tense game. It was in the arena. It was loud. It was maybe a bit hard in the moment, but I still think we should have done better.
There was one thing that there was a bench smoke when KSCERATO planted the bomb. So you guys were afraid that he actually sneaked into city spawn, right? And that's what kind of made it really difficult, is because you lost that information on him, and you didn't know if he went CT, if he went Tetris, if he went ramp, if he stayed on site. Then eventually you guys did what you're saying, that one guy went forward and decided to take space, which was Tessus, and he went like bench and cleared CT. But in the end, it was m0NESY who walked into his crosshair anyway, to like sandwich, and wasn't really clearing him. And then he just sprayed Tessus through the crate. So like it kind of happened, but let's rewind a little bit. And if you remember, like, all of these moments are happening, and then you're obviously doing a review after a lost game, like what happened. Do you actually go over this extensively, and you spend a lot of time thinking about how you could have done it better? Because some teams, and it happened even to us in Apex, sometimes we did not really discuss clutches that much, because it's like, it's gonna have, this clutch is going to ultimately happen once in like a year, right? That we're playing. So we kind of like ignore it. But at the same time, because it's happening so often in Falcons, do you actually overthink these situations, in your opinion, sometimes? Or what was the like dynamic when these moments happened?
I think when these moments were started happening a bit more often, sometimes we were just maybe overthinking a little bit, and maybe we were not playing the situations properly because of, like, in that moment your thoughts are somewhere else and not in the situation and what's the best way to play it, if you know what I mean. So it definitely had some impact on, like, the players, on us. I think overall, if you talk about these situations, sometimes, as you already mentioned, it's pointless to talk about some specific situation where it will happen once in, I don't know, in 1,000 rounds or even more. So I think these specific situations are really hard to discuss, because what can you say? Like, clear sandwich next time? Like, what can you say? It's a bit pointless.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but I'm trying to bring it closer to the viewers.
Yes.
Because it's not like you're going to now analyze this failed 1v4 and try to draw some conclusions out of it. It's just, it happened. You lost it. It happens. The fact that it happens so often, yes, we can address that one, but you don't go over this and point fingers to KSCERATO that he swung stairs, and then you traded 1 second, or you attempted the trade like 1 second delayed. Like, it's all happening in the moment, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to bring, that demo reviews are very important, but also not over analyzing stuff that are very unlikely to happen anytime soon is kind of, it can destroy confidence of a player.
Yeah, just to add on that, I think, as you said, for a lot of situations it's just pointless to discuss that specific situation, but I think what is important and what we try to do is to talk in general about this situation, so that if next time we end up in a advantage situation, I mean, in this case it was the last part of the retake was 2v1. So what we discussed after this round, after rewatching it, is how, like, what is the best way to play 2v1 retake on A? Like, who should go first, how you should space, should you, I don't know, clear all the angles properly, or just go and your teammate will trade you. So I think it's more important to discuss the general idea or plan how this round should be played, rather than discussing this specific round that we lost in that game. And that goes for all the maps.
Like, you try to generalize the moment into something that can be useful in the future as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Damian, thank you for breaking this down. I didn't want to go over other moments, because they did not really happen on Mirage, these radar moments, so it's kind of pointless to do it right now. But just for disclaimer, you were actually open to do it, so I really respect it, because a lot of players would be like, you know what, this is like, I don't want to. It brings back bad memories or whatever, but we might actually do like a part 2 where you go over these.
Sure.
However, before we thank you for this masterclass of a T-side, last thing that I want to ask, and I kind of forgot about the Faceit environment. I think when people start to like in-game lead on Faceit or like just give calls on Faceit, they might struggle with some pistol rounds. And I wanted to ask you, since you right now are not on active roster and you play a lot of Faceit, you stream it as well. All the links are going to be down in the description. So I wanted to ask you, what's your like go-to 1 or 2 pistol rounds that you like to call on Faceit? They're pretty easy to understand and they're pretty successful. Nothing too crazy, but at the same time, it gives you this leeway to start the match with the one pistol.
I have some pistols on Faceit that I like to call. I try to not overthink it too much usually. Like the way I think is that, okay, it's Faceit. Most of the time there will be no defuse kit, for example. So if we manage to get the bomb site and get the plant, there's a really good chance we win the round, if you know what I mean. So what I like to call is, like for example, a simple call would be that I will get one nade set, like utility. I will do this combo, which is the combo that I already showed, but now it's thrown from different spot. You're gonna smoke bench, you're gonna molly stairs, you will have 3 guys in palace. When these nades land, they jump down and they just try to get as much space as possible with the Glocks. The Glocks can be really annoying because you can just run and shoot with them with the Glock basically, and just jumping out of palace and going into like ninja already kind of creates a lot of pressure for the city guy. Imagine you're city and suddenly you see 3 guys just jumping down, and it's really annoying for you to get proper fights, if you know what I mean. So using the Glock is really important in a way that you can just jump, run, get space, and if you manage to get to city and you get the bomb down, there's a really good chance you win the round because, as I said, there are some tryhards on Faceit, but most of the time they will not have the fuse kit, for example, and the smoke, and you have really high chance of winning the Afterplant.
I actually always buy kit, so
Okay, when I play against
You
you,
just
I
called
will
me
call
tryhard.
something else.
it's okay. You have anything maybe towards B side? Because as I said before, Faceit, everyone loves to end A side. Everyone is allergic to B side, apart from when you have a deagle round and someone wants to do like a donk highlight on B. So can you give us one maybe towards B? Some
Yeah.
combo that you like?
I mean, few days ago, I was the tryhard, so I called a pistol with 2 nade sets and we popped B. So I will just show how it looked like. So what you can do is you need to have 2 guys buying utility, and one of them will buy smoke, flash, flash. Second guy will buy smoke, flash, and he can buy either one more flash or he can buy P250 if he's a fan of P250. You will have one guy who will throw the combo that I already showed previously in the video. He's gonna do this, and flash. Second guy, he's gonna come here. Second guy who bought utility, he's gonna get stuck in this area. And then how I line it up is that I put the pin of my smoke here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
This way you're gonna smoke short. And then this guy who bought one more flash, he can just add one more flash like this. Meanwhile, we have 3 guys who will like come close, pick this, get as close as possible, and whenever they're ready, they ask for the nades. The smoke start flying, flashes start flying. If you bought 4 flashes in total, then the last flash you can drop it to the first guy, and he's gonna do this flash. And same protocols like in full buy. First 2 guys need to jump down, use the flashes. Third guy can come and like just check this and be careful of this position because a lot of people like to get boosted here with duelists when they're playing city side. And you have the last 2 guys in the back. So basically, just to recap it, what you're getting is smoke short. It lands in a way that they cannot see you from anywhere on short unless they boost, obviously. You also get kitchen smoke. You're gonna get Edward flash. You're gonna get flash above BEPs, and you're gonna get this flash. This is for the tryharders.
And what do you? Now I'm thinking about it. You have a P250, right? So you can do this op protocol, which we spoke about, where you don't smoke kitchen window and you just hold the rotation. Is this favorable, you think?
But it's much less efficient, I would say, because with the op it's much easier to get the kill. With the op, even if you do like a body shot, you get the kill, but with P250 you kind of need to rely that
Be
this guy
Monesi.
will be Monesi and do 5 one-tops. But I think it's much harder with the P250, obviously.
All right, we do it safe way and we double smoke.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Pistol. I'm gonna copy that one. Thank you for that. Damian, thank you again for this. It took a little bit more than an hour, so I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I took away some of your precious time spending in Faceit. But if you wanna say a few words to your fans, or maybe fans of Falcons, or maybe your future team, whoever it might be, now's your chance.
So yeah, thanks to everyone who watched this video. I hope you enjoyed my tips and tricks on this map. I hope it's gonna help you. Don't do it against me on Faceit, otherwise I'll be tilted. And yeah, thanks to everyone who is supporting me, who was supporting Falcons during my time there, and I hope you're gonna like the video, and remember to follow me on my social media. Now I have a bit more free time, so I'm gonna stream a bit more, post some content, and I hope you like it. Thank you.
We will be there in your chat when you're gonna be smashing these noobs in face. Great. Shout out to you, all of my patrons and coffee members, for your continual support. It allows me to create more content like this. Your name is on the screen right now as a little token of appreciation. I used Coffee for years, where you can find extra content and perks at various tiers of membership, but due to popular demand, I set up Patreon too. Nothing changes, both platforms are treated equally, with same content, just for your convenience to use whichever side you prefer. Thank you for making my videos better and possible.